All right, good evening, everyone. This is welcome to Salty Saturdays. This is Wild Nine. I am joined by Nice Jewish Owl tonight. How are you doing?
Doing well. Hello, hello.
Right. We're starting off with a five seed legacy match between Haster and Eternal. And I was actually going to check. I haven't checked yet. But before, at least, Dad Legend was up 8-4, I think. I don't know if there's been any
Yeah,
updates.
Dad Legend's still up 8-4.
Okay, nice.
And so far, of the 3 games played, or 3 matches played, all of them have been sweeps. So
Oh,
we'll
right,
see if
that's
that
right.
continues.
Yes. That's right. I saw that. The first two, yeah, that's how we got to the 8-4. All right, I'm just letting them know that they can challenge up and ban. All right, so we have the classes here. Haster with Dad Legend has brought Mage, Paladin, Shaman, and Warrior. And then Eternal has brought Paladin, Priest, and any thoughts about the classes?
Um, I am wondering if a 5 seed knows how to play Boar Priest, because it's definitely the priest that you want to bring here.
Hmm.
Uh, but it it's a deck that has a lot of very intricate moving parts, and if you're not pretty familiar with it, you lose a lot of equity, especially in matchups like Mage and Paladin.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all these intricacies of which, like the not just the boar and the resurrect, of course, but then the killing the boars off and the pyros and when to use those and that sort of.
Yeah, it's all the non-boar pieces that are hard.
Exactly.
It's trading the amulets and summoning the boars that is the easy part. The hard part is drawing through your deck, not dying.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, assuming that it's probably not going to be boar priest, that's a good call because it does look like Naga priest will struggle against a lot of these decks, right?
Yeah, I think if we're bringing Naga Priest, we ban Paladin. I think if you bring Boar Priest, your ban is a little more flexible. You probably ban Warrior still, but Naga Priest um, is going to lose to assumedly Holy Paladin. Same thing with Demon Hunter. So Eternal's then a spot where if you have 2 bad matchups and a mirror into Paladin, it's probably your ban choice.
Yeah.
I think Haster's weak spot is going to end up being this mage.
Interesting. Yeah. What do you see there on Haster's side there?
Um, Really, the only mage deck right now is Naga Mage. You can play Mech Mage. It's not very good. Um, you can play Big Spell Mage. If you aren't Dankestat, it's probably not very good.
Uh-huh.
But I could see it being the better option here, especially if you're Haster and you anticipate that Boar Priest. I think Big Spell Mage is a decently heads up bring. Um, but also like Naga Mage is definitely the better all around deck. Um,
Yeah.
Shaman also kind of in a weak spot for Haster. Um, with that being said, though, I even though Shaman is going to be unfavored into Demon Hunter, Paladin, Warrior, I think if you give it 3 games, it probably gets through one of them.
Right. Yeah, I do think I mean it does make the ban process from Haster's perspective a little bit awkward. I kind of assume it's a warrior ban on the whole, right? Because
Yeah,
there's a
I would
number of warriors.
anticipate a double Warrior ban here
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
does look like that overall. Um just that yeah, if you go big spell mage, well, yeah, it's probably gonna be Naga mage, I assume, but I could see that. You're right. Like it could struggle here depending on what the archetypes are. What's interesting about the 5 seed too is I always feel like I'm never sure what the paladin's going to be. I feel like I always kind of assume and just make the read that it's probably holy, just because that's pretty strong and it's not too difficult to play. But I do see a lot more people favoring just the aggro line and just feeling very comfortable with that mech pally. And certainly, I think Caster could. I mean, sorry, Eternal could run a mech pally against some of this, even though it's probably not as good against Shaman, I imagine.
Yeah, the downside for Eternal is it's going to be significantly worse into Shaman and also a bit worse into Naga Mage. I do agree though that Mech Paladin suffers from the normal Paladin issue of being a really linear deck,
Right.
and um, often what that runs into is that like very good players will talk about Paladin decks are bad because they're so linear, so you know what to play around. Uh, but when you're at sort of the lower skill level, and not to insult these players, but there is a PR system. Um, Having very linear decks is often an upside because there's less room for error.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that on the whole, playing on curve is good, and it's actually a very important skill early on. Like you're learning to play on curve, control the board, make good value trades, things like that. And so a lot of these decks, like Mech Pally, kind of slide right into that as being very powerful and simple in that more
Yeah,
linear fashion. But yeah, it's not to say. I mean, I just think it's part of the growing process, right? Like I feel like that's one of the first skills I learned when I was in the first year or so in playing Hearthstone, and so it's like that's a very important skill that you still need later on, right? So,
I think a lot of people try and skip over that step or think
mhm.
that that step is no longer relevant once you get to the higher levels of play. But then, like, you'll watch the really really good Garrote Rogue players playing against Anaconda Druid, and they're
Right,
just playing out 2-1s for tempo and going face.
right.
It's like yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think it's the little things, and then the difference between even a top 2,000 legend player and a top 200 legend player in terms of playing aggro deck. Sometimes like it's just these little tiny things. Like do you coin something out here, or do you just play on curve? Like like it actually does matter, and a lot of it is based on thinking about tempo, thinking about matchups, thinking about trades, right? So there's some
Mhm.
nuance there, is all.
And it gets harder in closed list series because you don't know what your opponent is running.
Right.
And I think a lot of you gain and lose a lot of percentage points in the mulligan, just generally speaking, and not knowing what you're up against makes mulliganing a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely seen like there are just these little nuances in the list that we're seeing too, right? Like I've seen the Thief Rogue. I guess did VS put out these lists, but the Thief Rogue running Peasant, for example, like little things like that definitely make the early game different. We're not going to see any Rogue here though. We have one ban, so I'm waiting for the other one. But Eternal has banned Warrior, so we do know that kind of expected a Warrior ban there. We'll see if Haster is also side. But overall, I feel like the meta right now, even in closed list, like it feels like everything, like Naga Mage, Naga Priest, Val DH, Burn Shaman, like they obviously do have some favored and unfavored matchups, but it's all in that 40-60 range. And so it really feels like, you can just run your favorite decks kind of, and probably do okay and like probably be pretty good at most things right now.
Yeah, I think there's a few very polarized matchups, but there's definitely a lot of not super polarizing matchups out there. The issue I see is just that like there's 5 or 6 viable decks, and then every other deck loses really hard to those.
Right.
Um, it was like I was talking with some people about like Burn Shaman, and it's yeah, it loses to Warrior, Paladin, and Demon Hunter, which are like the best 3 decks, but it beats all of the other 4th decks, and that's why you bring it as the 4th.
Right. So we do have a confirmation it is a double warrior ban, so nothing
Okay.
surprising there.
Dang, I don't get to cast any Control Warrior gameplay. Oh well.
Yeah, that does seem to be the more, at least this week, feels like the more popular people are taking, I think. I think before there were some paladin bans here and there, and I think that you could also justify some DH bans possibly and just try to target paladin and warrior perhaps, but probably seeing mostly warrior bans.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that's a little easier to do in a series like Pro, because the issue you have in something like Legacy is if the week starts and I look at the list and see my opponent has like Druid, Priest, Warrior, and can't think of a 4th deck that'll beat Warrior off the top of my head.
Right.
But if I see like 4 decks that beat Control Warrior, I go, okay, I'll just bring Quest Warrior this week. And like, yeah, it's an awful deck, but my opponent's decks are worse, so I'll beat them.
Yeah, I do feel like the Druid bring probably is one of the bigger tells right now because Anaconda Druid does beat those 2 decks, and so if you see a Druid, you can play it safe and bring Mech Pally or bring Quest Warrior. So those pivots really do make it hard to target that approach and not go for that ban, like not ban one of those 2, right? Probably Warrior right now. I have given them the green light. They're just waiting for them up. But yeah, I don't expect any real surprises. I think it'll probably be the mainstream decks that we kind of said, likely.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of more interested in seeing what the specific tech choices are. Do we see
Right.
Blade Master Okami and the Paladin and that sort of stuff? All right, looks like we're heading in.
Any thoughts about first classes will be? I mean, we're gonna see it.
It's Conquest, so I think queue order for game 1 doesn't matter, and that's a controversial statement. But
is this my final form?
Looks like we're going to see Demon Hunter up against Paladin. And I'm a little unsure about this Paladin deck.
It's the hand buff variant, right?
Yes. Also,
What makes you unsure about it?
Hand buff Paladin is always a deck I feel like that looks a lot better on stats than it actually performs. I can't see Eternal's hand right now, so I'm going to stop spectating and respectate.
I have Eternal on the bottom on stream, not that it matters.
Okay.
He is off to a pretty good start. He's got the glaive down on turn 1. He's got follow-up with Vanguard on turn 2, so curve out real nice. Also has a strike in hand. So probably would love to see
Reporting for duty.
That would be probably good.
So Haster making the decision to hold the Seafloor Savior on turn 2. I don't think I like that.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, maybe he was thinking that, it just dies to the weapon and your power anyway. But
really?
In this case,
it's not too heavy.
The coin, it would have forced coin out at least. That's valuable. especially in this tempo matchup, right? Pretty
Yeah,
important.
because Demon Hunter really wants to play either Vanguard or Fossil on turn 2, and I think
Strike now.
if you can force them to use the coin anyways, and also get a little bit of deck fixing and make your next draw a little better, I think that's worthwhile. I don't know what we're saving the Savior for.
Right. Like some kind of combo dredge or something. I don't know. Yeah.
I-
Oh, well, now he could do it, I guess.
Yeah, but like, look at how far behind on board we
Right.
are already. I think
Yeah.
we have to just go Catacomb Guard plus Defender.
It is
Or
buffed.
not Defender, Protector.
Right. It is buffed. Buffed probably better than the Carriel here.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of a
Also,
lot of
I will
choices.
say, I like Eternal's use of the Fell Barrage last turn. I think it's the the realization of, well, might as well not float mana. Let's send it face.
Yeah. I was wondering about if you ever play Steno just on 3 on curve in this matchup.
Um,
I mean, you have
think
spells in hand to
you-
kind of go off afterwards a little bit, but it is a little because
I
you know
Light
Paladin doesn't have
think-
ways to clear that. I guess he didn't know what kind of Palio was actually.
Yeah,
It
I
could have been
think
holding
you
it.
have to respect the either 2-attack Samuro or Pyro equality this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both, I think, very reasonable fears.
Yeah, you definitely run the risk of just not getting any value, which sucks. Oh,
Oh, now we play Steno. I'm less a fan of this though.
he's gonna get value.
But I kind of want to coin Kurtrus next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, there is also a nice Fnatic play that would have allowed him to multi-strike with the Fossil Fnatic, right? Nice.
Strike now.
Yeah, I don't think Steno here is terrible because we are pushing a lot of damage. We're putting the Paladin in a really, really awkward position. But I don't know if it was quite the strongest play we had that turn.
A small misplay, I think, there because Eternal had another swing, could have cleared the 3/3, I think, but he would have lost 1 damage to. He would have killed it. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter.
I think there was a line where we played Never mind. It was not a line where we played multi-strike for a point. That's not how mana works. Yeah, I think
The potential
I'm
comeback
not-
here
not
is
sure on that.
kind of big. That 4/7 lifesteal
Yes.
gonna really take he's gonna feel it.
Yes, which is why I'm really surprised we didn't play it last turn.
Right.
Because that lifesteal is not a one-time thing. That minion has lifesteal, and I would really like to just have it on the board, able to. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Because it's now a 4/7 after the buff from the Carriel, so it would have been a 3. Wouldn't have killed Steno. So, never mind. Play the Carriel. Play the 4/7. I like it.
Yeah, he's gonna get more buffed here. And then the taunt is nice, of course. I'm assuming these are all going trades, but okay, he's gonna value trade.
Shadows grow long.
So you're hoping that the carrier will, the Kurtrus, sorry, will find a way to get you there. But this lifesteal.
Respect for the dead.
Yeah, this is a pretty big swing, for sure. Going up to 13, putting a lifesteal minion on board.
Both paladins are really good, right?
I think this is always my experience with hand buff paladin is the deck looks amazing whenever I play against it, and then as soon as I play it, my opening hand is like Varian and 2 4-drops, and I just
Yeah.
lose.
I know what you mean. Like, the feeling is, if you draw in the right order and you get all the hand buffs to land, then it looks amazing. But then when you have no hand buffs, it's just like, what is this deck trying to do?
Yeah.
Connie's gonna come down.
I think you name spell here. Well,
Because maybe, well, see, there are, Gulag would be a great counter, but then at the same time, countering something.
Reporting for
You
duty.
can't go wrong there.
Okay, it
what
is
was the
minion
clock on?
counter.
Oh, this.
What
I
a
mean,
find!
yeah, the one fanatic.
Also, wait, yeah, we didn't play. I don't know if we need to hold out for value on our click clocker.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just play the 1/1. It's chill. Oh, gets a need for greed. I think you probably play. You just want to draw more cards. 2/2 doesn't really do.
Yeah, I think the only way you win this game is if you get like Keria into G-Lag
Right.
this next turn.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 'Cause, I mean, you still have to find some way to deal with guard that's healing you 5 every turn.
Yeah, because pretty soon you're not going to be able to close it out, and the Paladin is closing it out pretty quickly. Oh, we get click clocker value. All right.
Hey!
This is not
They
what
knew.
we
They knew it was
stood
coming. They were staying true to the name of the deck.
for. Reporting for duty.
Never mind. What are we
They want even
saving
more
these
value.
for?
They want even more value. They're probably maybe the oh no, this the Tyrion, the Forge Ring is probably drawing the 8 drop, right? Not drawing the Mech 7 drop, I don't think.
Yeah, I assume Talon draws Varia.
Give them fell.
Yeah. I was thinking, oh, maybe they're waiting for that, right? That would be perfect. Play that on 9.
Boils for war.
Okay. Maybe they're bluffing that they. Maybe Haster is sitting here going, this 1/1 does not affect the outcome of the game. I just want to bluff my opponent and make them scared of what I have in hand.
Listen to my fury.
Sure.
And I don't think it really matters because Eternal is just dead on board. But yep, there's the variant. And a High Lord 4 Dragon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Truly going for the hand,
yeah. Hand of a Paladin, when it draws the curve, it wins games.
right? All right. So game 1 is in the books. Aster takes a 1-0 lead. A win here should be it, right? If Dad Legend wins the match, they will win the week, I believe, right? If there's any way to come back from, yeah.
You mean if Haster wins the match?
This
Yes.
match, yeah. For any win.
Yeah, because even a 3-2 puts them 12-6, and then SPG still can't win even with a sweep.
So, what do you think comes next for both players? Any thoughts? Oh,
Looks like Eternal's running back the Demon Hunter. Makes sense, because I think, maybe you weren't expecting that Paladin, but Paladin was sort of the rough matchup for Demon Hunter. We are seeing Mech Mage from Haster. Interesting.
This is why the 5 seed is kind of exciting. Honestly. It's like mage doesn't really necessarily mean the most popular mage are playing.
Yeah.
It does have some game against Mech Pally if Eternal is running Pally. I actually don't know anything about this particular matchup. Probably heavily dependent on the Shark, right? Which he does have, and he also has the discount. And he has 2 Sharks.
Yeah, this matchup, like on paper, is definitely very Demon Hunter favored. But if there's a hand that lets Mech Mage get there, it probably looks something like this. Especially with the Annoyatron picked up to protect those sharks.
Oh. Yeah, I was going to hold that, right? I don't play a lot of Mech Mage, but I just assumed that you discount your mechs and you just hold everything.
Yeah, but it's like we're playing Gateway next turn, and then we wouldn't have enough mana to play it alongside both sharks the turn after. Like, are we really waiting until turn 5 to play our Annoyatron? I'm fine with playing it there.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably gonna see Gateway. Hoping to draw.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say though, you're probably hoping to draw something that 1 drops so that play it for 0.
Each scar.
Yeah, I think this turn for the Mech Mage, we're just going to see one of the sharks alongside the 2 1-drops we've got.
Strike now.
Yeah, and this board is just fine.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
at
doing
6.
6 to this board. Oh,
Oh, amulet.
that's a card.
Some answered to Holy Pally. Go the distance.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't like this.
Oh, deciding not to go.
Error. Hot
I
bucket.
yeah, I really don't like holding the shark here.
Yeah, firing off 6 missiles. That seems good.
Yeah,
Well,
because you have the Annoyotron to protect it, and you're curving it into Mothership on the next turn.
Yeah, that's does look like Eternal's gonna make him pay for it a little bit. It's double attack. It's gonna be a bunch of 1/1s.
Strike now.
Mecha Shark, even a little bit. Really doesn't like to clear with the second multi-strike attack.
I mean, do you need to?
Yeah,
What's
in
the
this
speed?
case- Yeah, in this case, that's definitely true. Oh, yeah, that's the punish though.
Oh,
In theory,
They can
it's the punish,
in.
but I mean, it's not a huge punish. It's only a 2/3, but
I think it's the
yeah,
the
punish.
realization of I've got like 12 damage on board, 6 more in hand. I'm just gonna send everything face because Mage
Right.
doesn't heal.
Right. You have the Jason hand as well. 5 damage on board.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So we trade off our board and then we coin that. I like it.
make sure you do it in the right order. Otherwise, you'll be very sad.
Trading the
I'll just make sure you gotta make some space, right?
yeah. I'm just wondering, do you trade into the Mothership first or the 2/1 first?
I think the 2/1 first, right? Just in case there's something annoying. Ooh, we're not going for that yet.
That. Ooh,
Zero mana.
Reader can spell. Sinjari. Anybody?
Yeah. No, it's not Sigil. There's no way it's Sigil of Flame.
No.
Okay.
Probably
The
coordinated strike.
excuse is if we're coining it this turn
it is-
and
it
then
is Sigil.
playing Carrier next turn. That's the way I can see Sigil being excusable here.
Interesting.
Shadow scroll roll.
A little bit
Okay.
of a misplay there.
I'm
Maybe
Yeah.
the rope burning is making this a little bit stressful.
okay. I don't mind this. We're setting up the Sigil Flame, which really disincentivizes our opponent to develop this turn.
Right.
And then we're going to follow it up by playing our huge tempo with
Yeah.
Carrier into Jilag next turn. I think I would have liked to just get the Carrier down this turn because there's really not a good response from the Mage. You know that they only have 2 discounted mechs in hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially after opening that boat. Turned out it was very favorable for those 1/1s. Could have cleared the whole board. And you need to make room anyway, so
Mhm.
would have worked out. But again, it's a question of whether Haster can make his opponent pay for the mistake, essentially, or huge mistake.
I don't mind playing the Amalgam here. It's the question of would you rather have a 2-mana 2/3 or a mystery mech in your hand? Because you know that the board's getting cleared.
Right. Like gonna hold for value.
I think that's respectable. And yeah, if it's anything other than carry at this turn, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Okay.
I swear the first like 3 of the 4 times I played this deck, I would constantly draw Gulag. Like the turn I wanted to play Carrier.
Yeah,
The worst.
all run 7-mana patches.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright,
I think
now
we
what?
have to go Shark Amalgam and hope that it clears enough.
Yeah, try to find a 1-drop mech.
Yeah, because we know bottom of our deck, 2 of the 3 cards there are not 1-drop mechs. I think we're more likely to find like Click Clocker off of Amalgam as opposed to Click Clocker on the bottom of our deck in the 1 spot.
Oh, hovering over any.
That does let us guaranteed kill off the Gillag.
6/6, yeah. Especially since you're at 11, so it's kind of important.
I,
Almost got some extreme value there.
yeah.
Some kind of. There's a lot of damage in it.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, with the multi-strike, for sure. Because we just multi-strike hero power, kill the 4/3, send 3 face. Oh wait, yeah, we just predation their face
Predation
twice.
their face,
That's
right?
quite
Looks like Colonel sees it, I believe.
we can get fancy and guarantee a lethal on end of turn with the stocks, or we could just hit our opponent
For the style points, of course.
for the style points. Yeah. Yes, like we could hero power, or yeah, kill off both the minions on board, then end turn stocks will kill, but we don't need to. We just kill.
Just go.
Alright.
All right, so we are tied up at one apiece.
Yeah, so the Demon Hunter's gotten through. So Eternal still has Paladin and Priest, and Haster still has Mage and Shaman. I think if Eternal has Holy Paladin here, he's in a really good spot. If he has Mech Paladin, it's probably going to be rough.
It's going to be rough, yeah. We might have a read, I guess, based on what he. Get as many points as possible. Do you expect Haster to just queue the mage again?
Into Paladin and Priest, I'd probably queue Shaman. Because Burn Shaman's going to beat both types of Priest, and it's going to do okay into Paladin. I think Mage would be slightly better into Paladin, but Shaman is so much better into Priest.
Well, you have the
Well,
Paladin and the Shaman.
I don't think that this is Mech Paladin. Okay. I might be going insane as a Shaman player, but I think this is a 3 keep.
For the okay.
For the Shaman. I think you drop the bio and you keep the other 3. And I think if you're the Paladin, you single keep the 2 drop.
But that's because you know it's Holy Pally, right?
Yeah, that is because I know
it's Mech
Holy
Pally. Mech Pally, then you'd probably mull the whole hand. Because you're looking for Wildpaw Cavern, you're looking for freezes.
Yeah. I think I like single keeping School Teacher a little more than single keeping Okani.
Oh, Heptokani.
Yeah.
Ooh, but got a bunch of big.
Yeah.
Not a great hand. Whereas Holy Pally does have some good 3-4 plays.
The thing I sort of wanted to do, though, was just play my Bran on turn 3 as the Shaman, because it's exactly 4-drop Cariel. That's the punish from Paladin.
Which he would have had.
He would have had, but I would have gone for it and said, you don't have it.
Right. Draws the holy spell just in time.
Just in time.
Could also have Vanderman, but
cool. We drew probably the best 4-drop in Standard. Ooh. So why don't we coin out the best 4?
Right. Oh, that's cute. That rush. I think you just don't run it in though. It will get one more attack.
Mm-hmm. You have to play the Scalding here.
Right, if you're gonna go this line, right?
Yeah, you don't float mana.
Well, it would have been punished. Yeah, that was one thought I had. If you played the Scalding here, you're not really doing it for the damage in a way, because they could just heal it up.
Yeah,
Flash
but you're
flood.
still doing it for the 1 mana
The draw.
dredge
Right.
and juice multicaster.
Yeah, I do think that that would be the main reason for it. I mean, you don't have multicaster in hand, of course. I agree. Setting it up, and then you're just looking hard at the bottom.
Okay, it's turn 4. We have the best 4-drop in standard in our hand. I think we should play it.
I think so too. Okay. Like, Astor agrees? Maybe?
Maybe?
Well, maybe. Nah, yeah. I was going to say maybe you think about Okani, but then I realized it dies to board, so no. You would not do that.
Also, I might have to retract my statement about the best 4-drop in standard, because I think it's School Teacher is probably comparable.
That's fair.
Last expansion, it was Wild Paw, not even close on anything else.
Right.
School Teacher, though, giving it a run for its money.
The light guides you.
Interesting. Kings?
Yeah, Hold the Bridge is really cute. Blessing of Kings is a little more damage. I don't think it's ever Avenge, but I think there's a valid argument for both Kings and Bridge.
I mean, you have a Garden's Grace and you have Smite in hand as well.
Yeah.
Feels like you can do. The trade here is telling though. Like, I was wondering about that. Like, do you just ignore it? Do you actually trade?
I kind
What
of
are your
liked going
thoughts?
face there, but
Yeah.
I don't mind trading either.
Yeah, I don't think it's horrible, but I'm just like, you go for like a more aggressive plan given your hand, you know. Is he thinking about coin free? He does have a COD to back it up, but he's not under any pressure. I think that's one of the things about just maybe recognition wise. As soon as you see this is Holy Pal, you know you've got some time to set things up. Oh, and he can double Guardian out. 2 priest with 3 turns.
Yeah,
Now, Connie feels.
I'm 7.
I think you pick minion.
Big spell. Just because there's too many small spells. Or low impact.
Yeah, because I think you force your opponent to play out a small spell anyways to test for it.
Predictable.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then most of your minions have a decent amount of value. So, countering almost any minion in the deck, even the other drops, seems pretty valuable.
Yeah.
What do you do here? It's interesting because the Paladin has kind of had
Let
pretty
me
good cards, I would say, overall. But still feels like they cannot pressure and still is missing the most important card, which is Cariel. At least I imagine.
Move quickly.
Yeah, I think Kings.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, this is awkward because you put the Kings on the Victor, it
You have
makes
to
it
go
harder
face.
for him to. But we can see that Guardians are coming down anyway, so not going to get really punished by it.
It's definitely Snowfall Guardian this turn.
Right?
One of the things Paladin sort of has to watch out for here is you can deal with the big Snowfall Guardians, but often you'll get in these situations where your opponent is looping Snowfalls, and you go, well, I have a taunt up, so I'm not like scared of getting hit by them. But if they have Bioluminescence, I could take 30 next turn.
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting. Like, based on the triple freeze that we see coming up, you're going to get probably a relatively big board. So it just depends on, does he get, does Eternal Fine removal in time? And then also, in Hastur's case, is Hastur able to draw damage because there's no.
Yeah, that's always the trick. Bioluminescence is great and all, but you do need some spells to back it up.
These are some really large taunts as well. So
Mhm.
in the end, it was kind of like a good thing to have the Kings of the taunt just because it's pretty good.
These are some big snowfalls, though.
Yeah. True. Oh,
There we go.
Very helpful.
Our hardships only
Start looking for that
strengthen our
OTK.
resilience.
Pressuring. I mean, maybe
Job's done.
good at that. Problem is, it freezes your face, which like. I mean, Mutinous can kind of steal the game, but I guess you still saw, right?
This is an interesting turn because I think Brucon has merit, but I do think it's just Macaw.
Brucon would allow you to kill one of these taunts at least. Use the other.
Multicaster is huge.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
we play the Macaw
Watch the winner.
first. Okay. Yeah, so we play the Macaw. We play.
Oh, we're not gonna...
Yeah, we haven't played a Frostspell yet, so we play the Sleep right here. And next turn
we
we'll
want the full value, huh?
There's little time.
we need to point out this Wind Chill. I don't know. I don't know if we needed to do that. Oh, we can draw a lot of cards next
Yes.
turn.
Definitely
Oh,
can.
man.
Then follow up with Bioluminescence plus damage. But you still... Oh, it's a question of whether they have Viper or not.
We did see Viper.
Okay.
The issue is it's currently at the bottom of the deck.
Right. That's right. So what is the game plan then? Find the dredge, right? Well,
I think you go Bolner Multicaster and see what you draw, go from there. Because if you hit like Maelstrom Portal, you can get a pretty clean clear here.
you could also eat 2 minions.
You could eat 2 minions.
I mean, we can see Smite in hand, but you know.
Well, we know our opponent doesn't have a Holy Spell in hand, so I think we could sort of say they probably have multiple minions
Right.
in hand, and therefore we want to wait until we've narrowed down the minion pool a bit before we play this Mutanus.
I'm kind of worried about overdraw right
Yeah. I think we have to just play Wild Paw so we don't overdraw here.
There's little time.
And to be fair, when we say just play Wild Paw, I don't think you complain about playing Wild Paw, Catherine.
Quality.
Don't we start with Hero Power because if it hits Smite, our opponent's dead?
Ooh, is that right?
All are equal under the light.
Yes.
Oh yeah, our opponent would have been dead. Oh,
Well, this
Oh,
is
well.
also a full player.
the dead Mexican. Probably.
Lethal is always nice. Probably preferable. Fine.
Yeah, I think if you're Haster, you kind of have to play Brucon here, and you either go for taunts or
Oh,
heal. Actually,
that was a 1 in
could-
3. You do have you found Geyser as well, so you do have a way to get the Viper when you need.
yes, and we might do that this turn. Yeah, so go for lightning, and then we probably go for.
I guess that's
Yeah.
fair.
It was either restore 6 or taunts, and then you hope you hit the other one with hero power. You
Yeah,
did,
hero
so
power.
we have-
That worked out nicely. Ooh, Leviathan. Hero power
That's-
first? No, it
that's
doesn't matter.
huge. No, hero power second, because we
Second, yeah,
want
it's better.
higher odds of hitting smite.
Right.
But we
You can
hero power
actually
before we draw.
create your hero power. I mean, not your hero power, your weapon power.
We're definitely hero powering here, though, right?
Job's
Yes.
done.
Oh, it's the smite again.
All right, Brand Mutanus.
Yeah, this Mutanus really wants to come down. But that's because
Well,
we can see
we
everything.
have caster vision, and we could say you're dead if
know.
you don't eat it.
Yeah,
But
we can see it. So
I think your opponent's been hero powering enough that
yeah,
you just eat
just
it.
get so much value, right?
Knows my secrets will
Oh no!
Rhea
We
can
are
smell
generating stuff.
Zinjari.
Feral Spirit.
Oh, luminescence.
Ooh,
But you don't have, right? You don't have lethal.
no,
Not through the weapon.
definitely not. Yeah.
So he's just dead? No, not yet.
I'm coming.
That's minus 15.
17?
He
Oh,
is just dead.
well, no, because he can freeze slash. He can do a lot of freezes.
No, that's
exactly lethal.
that's just dead.
Yeah, that's lethal. That's it.
Is this gonna hit the smite too?
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
of course.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's just lethal.
The smite has just a magnet for the buffs.
Yeah, I think we just had to eat the minion there. I don't know how much hand tracking Hasker was doing, like counting how many buffs there are. But if you do eat Mr. Smite, it becomes a lot harder for the Paladin to win, especially if their hand size is pretty low, like it was that game, because the Paladin's then very reliant on sticking a large, and easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
So we see the Priest from Eternal, and it is Naga Priest.
The
So
earth
the Shaman's in a
itself
good
is
spot.
my ally.
Yeah.
I will light the way.
Because Naga Priest is very reliant on hitting your opponent's big minion, but none of their minions have charge. So you're very reliant on sticking a minion and then hitting it, which is very hard to do against Shaman.
Right. Well, the priest does find the wig in the opening hand. Very important.
Yeah, I think Priest, you single keep Wig. I don't think Treasure Guard's a keep with this deck, and I think this is a full toss for the Shaman.
Yeah, I think so. I think that if Eternal gets Naga, this could be faster. Gonna have to finds the cavern, finds Sleepbreaker.
Yeah, Sleepbreaker and Cavern are
Finds
some of the
one
best
mana
cards in
Naga.
the deck, period.
A good one man. With follow up. Like this. You have a turn. Keep the chain going.
Yeah, but we have Sleepbreaker into Wild Paw. I think the Shaman's not complaining about their spot here.
Yeah. But you're gonna need there's a Snowball Guardian. I mean, you're basically dodging Bless, right? At this point, and you're just hoping to freeze them.
Job's done.
I think you still coin the Wild Paw this turn.
I agree.
Because I don't want to say you're never dead, because I haven't done the math, but I think you are, in most reasonable circumstances, never dead.
I think that I like it. Okay. I'm glad that Aster thought about that for a little bit. Because that's one of those situations where I think it's important to think through what you're trying to do there. Because eliminating that in theory allows you to freeze no matter how big this 3/7 gets. But unfortunately, that theory is kind of screwed up by this treasure guard.
Still go Wind Chill, and then just bump with our 3/4, and both of our opponent's minions are frozen.
Yeah.
And, well, we don't have a Bolner in hand, so 0-cost Battle Cry fodder isn't important, so just play a 3/4.
3/4. Fight for the board. Getting these freezes is very nice. Is this shard gonna come down after Dagger comes out, do you think? Or do you save it for stuff like Snowfall Guardians?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say.
So awkward right now. Just because of the number of number of freezes your opponent is getting onto the board.
Okay, yeah. I saw us considering that Naga Giant. It's always handmaiden here. Do not look at Naga Giant with this deck.
It was an interesting decision there too, in terms of what to buff. I didn't do the math. I was wondering if you put both the wigs on the taunt instead. But I'm not sure if that's correct. Like having 3 big minions also seems pretty right. Like spreads out the damage, but also the potential of bless and something along those lines.
Going wide definitely makes sense.
Right.
I kind of wanted to play Geyser before we drew with Wind Chill. I guess now we're just not going to draw. We're not going to play Geyser this turn. Yeah, we have to respect Bless enough to freeze the 2 big minions here.
Oh.
Who here can spell Zinjari?
Wow.
And that's a Bless.
That was
Kind
a
of.
pretty quick blast. I was actually thinking about the Devour as well, because you kill 4 of the minions on the other side because of double Devour.
Tell me, Minnow, have you done as I asked?
Don't know if that's correct though.
You know what's better than killing minions, though? Killing your opponent. Bless.
Is he gonna get there? I guess. I guess at this point, is it just if you have Snowfall Guardian, fine. Oh, he's playing the shard. I thought that this would be bless.
Wait, we were 2 off lethal if we played Devour before Valish this turn, weren't we?
Right. I think that
What?
yeah.
Are we killing the totem?
I'm not sure. He does silence in order to basically free the Frozen Chain, but you're gonna get the bad news that there is.
Yeah.
But there is no follow-up yet with Snowball Guardian.
I
You
think
might be
there
right,
is.
right?
I think
Oh.
the follow-up is Bioluminescent.
I just mean more freezes, but yes, you're gonna
15.
feel it. But does Bio still kill you?
I've got plenty of mojo to go around.
Bio doesn't kill, right? That's not enough damage.
Bio does not kill.
I don't know why, but in my head I'm just like, oh, Bio always kills. Wait, he didn't hero power his face. He should have just, healed himself up there. Too excited to kill his opponent, I think. I mean, this board is like
Wait,
gross.
Bio 7, 14, 20, right?
Oh, geez. Is that really that top deck?
Bio
lethal?
plus 4 spell damage, Frostbite for
Oh,
7,
God.
Lightning Bolt for 7, Scalding Geyser for 6, right?
Sounds right. Looks like he found it.
Aster's going for it, so I assume we're right.
I mean, yeah, Bio's always lethal, right?
Yeah.
Always. Just assume it.
So, you see, it was important. Eternal did the break points and said, if I hero power my face, my opponent's Frostbite's an honorable kill. And I don't want my next spell. I don't want my spell next game to cost 2 more.
Nice. All right. Well, we have a game 5.
Yeah.
Oh, Mage versus.
And this is an important game 5 for Haster. If he's able to take this, it seals the week for Dad Legend. If Eternal's able to take this, then it just comes down to the 4 seed.
Cyrilla! This
Yeah.
I want to say that the Naga Priest is pretty favored in this matchup.
I would assume.
But I don't know if we've seen whether or not Eternal is running Samuro in his list, and that
Right.
probably makes a difference.
My thought also is if you get a big mech to stick, probably. I think it's feels like one of those games where it's gonna be hard to come back. Well, I guess your opponent doesn't have Wig yet, so that helps.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot harder for the Mech Mage to come back because the Naga Priest minions just scale so quickly
Right.
once they have Wig, of course. This is a tough turn. Do you coin out a 2-drop, or do you save the coin because you have a shark in hand? I'd coin a 2-drop. And I think the 2-drop of... I was going to say Trench Surveyor, but I
Right.
think a Neutron's the next best.
Yeah, I think so. One more attack on the board
Squishy, I'm working.
thing. Would you have gone that route, or would you have thought about looking for the Wig?
I don't mind playing the 3-2 to contest our opponent's 1-2. I think off of that amalgam, we probably could have considered Gaia for a little longer and then decided on Mecha Shark. I agree with the decision. I just think we made it a little quick. Because Gaia is really strong.
Yeah, I like actually. The more I think about the turn 2 not going for the Thrive, I think the follow up's really like having a treasure guard. Maybe it's different. Actually, maybe it's not different. Maybe you have to play the 3-2 no matter what, as long as your opponent plays a minion there. My instinct is always just we got to get a Wig in hand, but that might not be the
Really
correct instinct.
surprised we took a Neutron over Trench Surveyor there. Oh, we have a Wig.
Wow. Definitely helps. It's a 0 mana Wig for now.
Yeah.
I was
My
thinking
gut was I wanted to play School Teacher there.
yeah, I wanted a teacher and Wig.
Yeah. But Crush Claw's not bad. Well, we drew Handmaiden, so we were saving the Wig for that. Makes sense.
It all works out.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have value traded with the taunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Job's done.
And also, like, Nogalings are really good. I think we need to put some respect on the Nogalings.
Nice turn. Kind of a punish for taunt. Value trading with the taunt. Because could run away with this security automaton.
Definitely.
Yeah, I guess like the biggest out probably Samuro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say, I do think.
Wait, that's not active.
Yeah, I feel like Eternal's been playing this just a bit too passively. I think my gut has been that we wanted to take more active lines, like developing School Teacher, value trading, that sort of stuff, this game. And we'll see if it ends up punishing.
Error. Hot bucket.
The innie. Wasn't sure. Seems like 2 security automatons would be nice, but I guess maybe you're feeling a little bit uneasy about this 5-7.
I feel like I wanted a gateway here, but
Yeah.
3-4 is not bad for sure.
Gateway with the 2 sharp right? Feels good.
Yeah, like you pick gateway and then you play deep run this turn.
There is a plan.
Okay, Ajax, not bad.
I think now is the time for maybe. Maybe not.
I think it has to
But
be.
how?
I don't think you're ever playing it outside of this turn.
Yeah, and I don't.
Like Shard is pretty good here off of School Teacher. Yeah,
It
the more I
doesn't
think
really-
about it, the more I want to play School Teacher here.
Yeah, there definitely are good discovers that you find.
How?
On a previous discover too with Thrive, like I thought he picked the bless a little bit fast. I mean, I know that it's the combo and everything, but he was behind on the board.
Anybody?
Interesting.
No
Focus
time.
well.
Condemn is
That's a
not
big call.
upgraded.
Yeah, that
Important
was
to
not the
note.
best, but you still do have a silence.
Yeah, we definitely silence this automaton.
Right.
We wanted to play the wig first though, and then the Naga
Right.
to block the new wig.
Okay, so has an answer for this large Naga.
Yeah, man.
Full clear?
Why are we trading the 3-3? Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
The scary thing against Naga Priest is it is like, well, if you leave dead,
Yeah.
you have to worry about that every turn.
Hand minion active now. This is what's always so awkward, at least playing with Reese when you're trying to play from behind. To me, it always just feels strange.
Yeah, especially if you don't have Samura.
Yeah, and you're not drawing the elemental, so you can't like make this huge, swing turn as well. Everything feels a bit awkward.
I think we put a wig on the 1-3 as opposed
Yeah.
to buffing the.
Ooh.
I don't mind Devour though.
So I think he's correct in that. Well, he doesn't have the card though. I was gonna say he is kind of getting to a point where he can think about trying to combo just because of the pieces he has in hand, but
And
he needs the
Mothership's a
elemental to
huge draw, I think. Well, is it? Oh, I don't actually know.
a bit of work, but I think we're going.
Yeah, because I don't know if you can afford to play Mothership here. You don't full clear.
Right.
I think the only line where we full clear is with any this turn. So we're opting to not
Oh, we're
fully
getting
clear
value.
on its board. It has to be Gateway, right?
Well, he doesn't
Even
draw
though you
into
don't
hand.
try?
I think that the reason why he
know,
did
but-
that was to play this 3-drop.
Error. Hot bucket.
Oh, and we're not. Now Gateway seems.
Works against me.
But you can't clear, right?
You can't full clear, so you're leaving up this 2-8. And that's kind of scary.
Oh, I would just pick the 2-8.
Just
Just
because
out of pure fear. This is scary though. Is that? There's no way. We never get.
No, we're not dead. But if our opponent had Radiant, we probably were.
Right. Ooh, I like that. Getting in the way.
Oh, play the
Oh, no, no,
wigs.
no, no,
Play
no,
the
wigs
wigs.
first.
Unless we're blessing.
Reloaded for next time. Oh
Wait, why are we blessing? Hit your opponent for 15.
Yeah, I was,
No,
was
just
wondering
hit
about
him.
seemed like it was good enough to bless there. Maybe holding it
Yeah.
for like proper combo, I suppose, but it would be a clock. Would have been a 2-turn.
Yeah, 2-turn clock.
Yeah. Deck is definitely not the easiest to play, I would say. It's just there's a lot of little nuances to the whole creating boards and establishing them and all that. I think
Yeah, I think
well, I was just thinking like the taunt getting the extra wig does set up so that you can clear this board when he tries to attack into it. So like there's no value trades, I guess.
Mhm.
But you were gonna set up, 2. Nice.
I think the thing with decks like this is it it's knowing when to play cards like Bless and that sort of stuff. Like knowing when to use a Bless even though it's not lethal.
Right.
And that's always what's hard with these sorts of decks is like you see all of the stream highlights of people like making a huge minion and killing their opponent,
Yep.
but you don't see the highlights of the person playing the Bless on turn 3 to make a 9 attack minion, and then that takes
Yeah.
over the game.
Yeah, it feels like it's supposed to be a finisher, and that's all you can use.
Yeah, but this is just for the priest. I don't think we're gonna miss the lethal here. We just sort of play all the spells in our hand and then hit our opponent. You don't even need to play a Naga. You just go wig, bless on the big one, bless on the small one, and it's turbo lethal.
Mm-hmm. Seems like he's counting.
Hide my
Who here can spell Zinjari? Anybody?
It's still. Oh. Yes.
Still
Yeah.
fine, right?
Still kill our opponent here. Because it goes up to 18, 19, and then we have 4 from the 3-3-1. You see it, right?
no time.
All right. Well, it is still not over then. For the week, I mean. See if we get internal. Owl computer crashed. But hey, Eternal, you here?
Yes, I am here. Hi. Hey. That was close.
Congratulations. Yeah, game 5, real close. That last one was close as well.
Thank you.
Any thoughts or any parts that stood out to you as maybe like the most nervous parts, the most, I don't know, iffy turns that you felt like you took or you weren't sure about?
I think I misplayed a little bit with the Burn Shaman matchup when I didn't heal and I had 3 mana up. I probably could have anticipated the bioluminescence into burn spell, depending on what he had. I probably could have survived with about a health or 2.
Right.
Like the other thought was, like it was one of those things where it's like even if I healed, he either had it or he didn't. So
Right.
yeah, like it was a hard choice to make, especially as the Naga priest.
Yeah, he had to top deck that too. So so it was kind of unlucky there for you in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. That last game in particular though, I feel like is not easy. Especially when you lose the board. I feel like when you lose the board in with Naga Priest, it's hard to figure out how to come back onto the board. So the fact that you have to kind of like keep building these big boards and hope that something would survive, right? Any thoughts about playing that out, I guess? Because there was definitely some complicated turns there.
Yeah, there were a bit complicated turns. Like Naga Priest is not an easy deck. It's
Right.
like an easy deck to play. When I was playing the Mech Mage matchup, I had to build up these big boards because that's obviously what you want to do in the matchup. So then if they have the Mecha Shark, it'll be harder for them to break it. And surprisingly, he didn't, like, my opponent didn't have the Mecha Shark. So it was easy to stay on board and to force my opponent to play to my tempo rather than me having to play to his.
Yeah, no,
So,
he had Mecha Sharks, but he was holding them a lot. So I'm not sure exactly why. Like maybe just thinking like, oh, since you would always build these minions that had like 9 life, right? That the missiles
mhm.
weren't gonna do enough, or they wouldn't help him get back on board. Um, but yeah, like he never was able to stick a Mecha Shark, right? Which is always the scary thing if they get a turn, to a full mana turn to play whatever mechs they have, right?
Yeah. Even with the discounted mechs, I thought he would be willing to commit to
Right.
the board and do what Mecha Sharks do best: pew pew away the opponent's board if
Mm-hmm.
possible, or at least deal damage to the enemy hero.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a really strange game, especially because Mage can take control of the board pretty early if they have the Mecha Sharks and the discounted mechs to pop off.
Yeah, I thought you navigated it really well, especially in a situation where Wig is not the easiest deck to play, like you were saying, and then the whole component of having to comfort behind. I think that's always the toughest one in those scenarios. It's just very nerve wracking. You're
Mhm.
like, I don't know what is the best, like, where do I put this wig? How many, how tall should I go? How wide should I go? Those kinds of issues are always difficult.
Yes.
Any other thoughts about your like lineup or your matchup approach? Maybe like even in thinking about the classes, like were you expecting aggro decks? Were you expecting like mage in particular? Because I don't know how popular mech mage is. Is that something that you were expecting?
I was expecting Naga Mage for the most part, seeing as how board-based decks aren't really that prevalent right now in the meta, right? You see a bunch of
Mhm.
Fell Demon Hunters, some Warriors, some Holy Paladins, anything that could like outlast any of the Warrior matchups. Like this is definitely a very slow meta. So the Mech Mage was a bit surprising, and I was also surprised to see the Burn Shaman because
Mhm.
you're I was a little bit surprised to see Burn Shaman. I guess he was anticipating I'd play Naga piece because why play Naga? I play anything else when you can just play Serpent Wigs all day. So yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
that makes
yeah.
sense.
So the mage was a little bit. Mage and shaman were a little bit weird, but other than that, it felt pretty standard. I think a lot of people right now are bringing similar, if not the same, lineups like warrior, paladin, and and then whatever your third or fourth deck is going to be. So
All right. Well, any last shout outs or anything? Final thoughts? I don't know.
shout out to my teammates. We've been despite the rough split, they're still continuing to give it their all in their matches. And I hope that we can hopefully get through these last couple weeks and make it all the way to playoffs.
Yeah.
Would be nice,
Yeah. I mean, this match was super
especially
important.
given how close Silver Conference is right now. It's so close. Anyone can
Uh
take
huh.
that number 4 spot right now.
Yeah, this is a huge win. I mean, you are still in it. The 4 seed, I think, match is left. So if Haster had won,
Hmm.
then you would have lost the week. But this keeps you in it. So
Yeah,
it goes down to the very last match. Definitely close, 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 close.
thank you. Also, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer crashed right as you played like the Nogaling with Serpent Wig on it. So I assume you got the bless
Oh,
off in one game
I
five.
hope you didn't force him to solo cast. I hope he wasn't forced to solo cast there.
It was the end of the
It
game.
was the
We
end
were
of the game.
talking about how it was lethal, and I was just hoping you got it while my computer turned off.
Yeah, we're
The
fine.
wow. Okay, at least the humongous owl didn't die there. So, anyways,
All right. Thanks so
yeah,
much, Eternal. Thanks for playing on stream and everything. And congratulations. Really good match.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. We have to get Mighty in here to pass the next match. Going to be McBanterface against Nails. Um, You good, Owl? Just making sure.
Yeah, I should be.
All right, cool. I'm gonna try to get them set up. I'm gonna try to get Mighty in here. Any thoughts though of the last match, just finishing up, and then you guys can preview the next one. Hey, Mighty, he's here.
Yeah.
Whoa, double control warrior ban. Who would have seen that coming? It's almost like it's the best deck right now.
I'm just checking the lineups real quick.
Yeah, I think the interesting difference here is McBanterface has Naga Mage and Nails has Holy Paladin. And between
Interesting.
the two, I'd rather have Holy Paladin.
Yeah, definitely. Just because the Holy Paladin is itself favored into Naga Mage. Um, mm, let's see. FLDH Naga Mage. That's the only difference, right, between the lineups?
As far as I can tell, there's some slight card differences between some of the lists, but it's the same archetypes otherwise. Like 1 times Tusk Piercer in Fell Demon Hunter to draw Treasure Guard. Don't know if I've seen that before.
Certainly interesting. I can see it, and it also gives you an extra weapon to proc your 2 drops, Fossil Fanatic and Battleborn Vanguard. So I can see that. Yeah, the Paladin looks pretty standard. The Warrior looks pretty standard. The Rogue, yeah, the rest of it's just pretty standard. The Rogue's different actually. McBanterface is playing the Jackpot Rogue and Nails is on the Boat Rogue, like the straight up damage rogue.
Yes. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
both certainly good decks. The interesting thing for me has been the newest advancement in Thief Rogue was cutting the double agents, because 3 mana 6/6 isn't good enough anymore. You just want to draw null.
Yeah, that does sound counterintuitive though. Like, but when you actually play it and you realize it's actually so slow, and Shroud is so good simply because it can discount your null just further. It draws 2 cards, discounts your null by 2 if you're not. So it's just. I like how the trajectory of the deck went. How like first we were also playing the 1/1 Swashbucklers. Like on the initial day when the nerfs were reverted, some people were even playing the 4/4 Pirate, which discovers a spell from another class. But then that quickly fell out.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of what we realized back with initial null with like Poison Rogue. It was like, yeah, you run Maestra just because 0 mana 4/5s with Rush are good, and everything
Yeah.
else in your deck doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because yeah, why play a 3 mana for 2 3/3s
Yeah.
when you can use Prep and
Yeah.
Vessel, and then they also have Stealth.
Yeah. What's interesting to me with these lineups is that none of our players has Priest, which is quite interesting because like most of the standard lineups I'm seeing in tournaments, even in Summer Championship, and we had the TwitchCon qualifiers. Most of the people have 3 of these decks, like Warrior, Mage, Demon Hunter, or Rogue, and the 4th deck they always have Boar Priest. So that's quite interesting also.
Yeah, I think the reason we don't see Boar Priest is just because the rest of your lineup wants to ban Warrior,
Yep.
and it's sort of hard to justify bringing Boar Priest and then banning its best matchup away.
Fair.
Because it'll definitely like still beat things like Thief Rogue and Paladin. It's just like there's other decks that'll also do that a little better.
Yeah, completely makes sense. What else? So are we about to begin, or is Perfect. This is going to be a very interesting match for sure. Like both are really, really, really good players. Um, and definitely a privilege to cast this match. Also, I hope um, I don't think we are gonna see many misplays from either of the two players because they're both very technically correct and like the attention to detail is going to be pretty. Uh, but I hope one of them slips up just so that like we can call them out.
Yeah. I mean, what I've usually found is like once players are playing at this level, they're not making misplays. They're just like finding lines that are different than the ones you're looking at.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
and it's hard as a caster to be like, well, obviously you should have played around that removal spell. You should have played around the flame strike that the rogue had in hand. It's like, well, no, you don't know they have it.
Yeah. So definitely the rogue is going to be the most interesting. So it's like the thing you said ki you're okay with both rogues. I personally don't like the this jackpot rogue. Granted, I only played 2 games on it, and the spells I got were pretty shit, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like they didn't do anything. Like the match, both were non-games. But like whenever I face this deck on ladder, they always have the nuts. So
yeah,
I'm just not. Yeah.
it's hard to say because the data is being like the data on Jackpot Rogue on like HS Replay is being dragged down by people just running terrible cards like Tess and Stash in their deck. It's like
Mhm.
I can believe that Jackpot plus Trickster is a good combo, but it's like once you start putting Queen Ashara in your deck, it's like okay, this is no longer a good deck.
Yeah, totally. Like Queen Ishara does not have synergy with your deck. I mean, like, okay, what are you gonna do? You're gonna play a Colossal on turn 9 and then reuse it with like by the time you're already dead. Also, funnily, like whenever I've lost to this deck on ladder, like the first wave of threats they make with the Trickster and like whatever spell they got of Jackpot, you usually are able to deal with that. Like the games you lose are the ones where they replay all that stuff with Stash or Tess.
I was gonna say when I lose to this deck, it's usually because they don't play Jackpot and they just go Prep Vessel on turn 2 and then Gone Fish in turn 3. Like, oh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I have both of them added. Yep.
Okay, cool.
all right, yeah, yeah. I do think my gut says it's gonna come down to whether or not Banter gets this mage through, because it is looking
Uh,
like the weakest deck in his lineup.
Not really. Honestly, I feel Mage is slightly favored into Rogue, and he's running Viper, so he's like he can even beat the Paladin out simply because of that one card inclusion. Because like you make multiple boards, and Paladin needs to have successive clears, and like playing Paladin personally, the deck can whiff a lot. The deck can just simply break if you get like terrible draws. And
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Nails isn't running the new Myrmidon, which has been like a pretty significant upgrade in the card draw for Paladin.
hmm.
But yeah, the deck is definitely potent to whiffing.
I personally don't trust in the deck. Like personal experience. So,
All right, it looks like
okay,
the
they're
game is
beginning.
starting.
Perfect. I'm just getting into the spectator.
The Legion's rage pales before mine.
Demon Hunter Mirror.
Of course. So, looking at opening hands, hmm. Oh, he's Nails is running Herald of the Herald new card as well. Like most people have started cutting it off now. But I see.
Yes, yeah. Banter's not running it. I wonder if it's maybe a hedge for certain matchups. Like I'd imagine it's pretty decent in the mirror.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty good versus Rogue because Rogue makes 3/3s and you have it deals with 2 of those and gains you 6 health. The Tusk Piercer is coming in clutch.
Yes. Well, we also had Glaive, so we would have had a weapon either, but we don't complain about it. I was interested by the fact Nails chose not to swing with it turn 1. I would have thought you would want to upgrade your Kurtrus, because you also have the second
I
weapon.
grow impatient.
That is true, but you might not have mana to equip the second weapon, like if you curve out into good cards.
That's fair.
Time grows short.
This is an awkward spot for Banter, because... Okay, going for Point Viper.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want to just play the Fossil Fanatic, but like all of the other plays that turn sort of felt very slow, so I really don't mind coining the Viper.
Yeah. I mean, you'd rather Viper the Glaive, but like you take what you get.
Yeah, it's turn 2 and you're coining out a
Yeah.
Spider Tank. Like, it's probably your best option.
So what do we do this turn? I sort of.
I think Fossil Fanatic, like, you
Yeah.
want to play it to draw a spell, but then you're
Yeah.
not killing the 1/5 unless you use Fury, which
Fury,
is rough.
yeah. Yeah.
The other
Every
thing
play
I-
just looks awkward right now. Okay, he's just playing Steno and like tempering it out.
Yeah, that was
This-
a rough turn. And
Yeah.
if we go like Glaive, multi-strike, hero power, push 8, full clear.
This just gets answered so easily, and Nails get to push so much damage here.
Yeah, I wonder if it's sort of a situation where Big Bannerface looked at his hand and said, "Well, if he doesn't have the answer, I'm in a really good spot, so I might as well
Yeah.
go for it."
Pretty much a gamble there.
What a find!
Okay,
And-
he gets the Kurtrus. Game's not over.
Yeah.
Winnable.
Ancient power!
Start with trading the Need for Greed. Oh, that's the wrong part of the combo.
Yeah. Although, I don't know. I don't know if you're unhappy about playing it turn 7.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good.
As long as you don't top deck the carry on next turn, which would be quite sad. Yeah. So I honestly just like dropping the Herald and clearing the 2/2. Interesting.
Yeah, wanting to get the lucky.
And saving the charge. Interesting.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mind just playing it as a 3/4, but you also know your opponent has a bunch of fell spells in hand. So
Yeah.
like they probably have barrage there.
Mhm. Also, saving the charge, it can push a lot of damage, especially with when you have multi strike. I mean, you're only gonna send one into the minion, but
I'm guessing we'll see Fell Barrage plus maybe Fury for Banter here. Yeah, I think my
Do
gut
you
says
even-
you
Patient.
Fury. I guess there's no point in. When Felbrage definitely happens here.
Yeah, it's the question of what do you do with the last mana? Do you
Yeah.
hit face and play Glaive? Do you play Glaive then hit face? Do you hero
Yeah.
power, play Fury? That's always what's tough with this deck, is just like maximizing every turn.
I like this play because the game's at this point where it's gonna end in a couple of turns. Like, there's no point in saving a charge of Glaive at this point. You just want to push and kill them as soon as possible. And the one damage can matter a lot of times.
Yeah, and I think Nails just sort of has to play Steno here, because anything
Yeah.
else we do this turn is so slow, and we have a really good follow-up.
Yep.
And yeah, similarly, you have to drop Kirkus. Every other thing's awful.
So, yeah, easy. As long as they both are cleared, Muse is fine. The one gets cleared, so that's
Banner's one-off lethal, if my math is correct.
yep. Yep.
Rough.
So that's 4 for 8, 9,
My hunt
6.
goes
Yep,
on.
one off lethal.
So do you just play your own? Just have the response?
Gamble, full gamble mode.
Like-
What else you can do here?
I think you hero power, kill the 3/6, and then play
The
Karya.
answer
That's my
is here.
gut. Maybe you don't have to kill the 3/6 though. Maybe you can just like kill off one of the stocks and hope that you kill off the rest of the stocks. I don't know.
This is tough. I honestly would make whatever play, like, if I'm in this situation, I'd probably make the play whichever is intuitively correct to me at that point. Like, and I'm pretty sure if I find myself in this position 2 times, I'll probably make a different play. Okay, I like this.
Yeah, this
Sounds good. Very sweet. Okay, so
for the lead.
that doesn't get there. That doesn't dead. Yeah, pretty dead.
If we trade Need for Greed, are there outs?
I don't think so. Like, you all have 4 mana left. Even school teacher can't get you anything.
If we hit Fury, we go Fury. No.
Nah, Felbraj doesn't
Spot,
go
yeah.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. If we hit another Fell Barrage by trading Need for Greed, we kill off all the stocks, and we're not dead on board because we don't know our opponent has Fury.
True. I mean, the trade Need for Greed always happens, and then you see if there's a. Okay, interesting.
What a find! And fully intact.
Yeah, he's going for the second Fell Barrage here. But, like, you don't have mana to play it anymore.
Ancient power!
So.
Yeah, we're just dead on board.
Yeah, it's dead on board. Yeah. I mean, if the stock got cleared at that point, then you wouldn't dead on board.
measure to my fury! There is no measure to my fury!
Yeah, that
That's the
was
mirror
an
interface.
interesting game.
But like, I don't think this matters much because looking at the lineups, I think Demon Hunter is gonna get a win at some point anyway for both of them. Because I think that's the deck which is favored into the rest of the lineups. Like, it beats Rogue, it beats Mage, it beats Holy Paladin. I'll say it beats Holy Paladin, but like some people like to differ.
I think with Viper and Jace, I'd probably
Yeah.
rather be the Demon Hunter against Holy Paladin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we might see Nails just run back the Demon Hunter then, if assuming that it's his best option into the Rogue and the Mage.
Yeah. Or you could just save it for the end. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's conquest. The queue order doesn't really matter. Um,
Not necessarily though, because game score actually matters.
yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. This is THL. I kind of forgot that. Uh, I'm like so hardwired into playing like normal conquest that game score doesn't matter. That I kind of yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think it's better to focus on playing well than worrying about queue order, but like there are sometimes those slight optimizations.
Yeah.
Jaina, this
So yeah, we are the fourth deck versus fourth deck
fight
game.
with honor.
You asked for.
Okay. Holy Paladin versus Mage. I feel like my initial gut is that this is just a full pitch for the Paladin, and you keep Intellect as the Mage.
Yeah, pretty much. I think like yeah, Paladin wants the Summerfish, the draws, Carriel, obviously.
Yeah,
Good stuff,
I
basically.
think one of the advantages Paladin has is that the Mage does play really passively throughout like the first 4 or 5 turns of the game.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes exploit that with the Paladin just to get like a few things on board.
Yeah. I mean, this Paladin is deceptively like we call it a control Paladin or Holy Paladin, but like it can play a very good tempo game.
Yeah.
You can just play minions on curve. You play Summerfish on 3, then you play follow up with a small Carriel on 4, then you just like
Yeah, as someone who has played a bunch of Celestial Druid recently, sometimes you queue into Paladin and they just play on curve and you go, wait a minute, I thought I was supposed to win this matchup.
yeah, that happened to me. I didn't get my scales and like I just lost to Paladin putting pressure on curve.
Really? It's not too heavy.
Yeah, Paladin's getting a little card draw.
It's getting a lot of card draw, but I don't quite know if these are the cards that we want to see as the Paladin.
Yeah.
We have Samuro Equality, which is a clear.
Yeah. I mean, you have multiple gears. You have Equality Pyro, you have Set It Outs, Equality. I mean, Equality is the main.
Yeah. And with the second Bannerman buff, I would say 3 attack Samuro is usually pretty good at cleaning up mage boards.
Yep.
The Queen's trove is forbidden.
I mean, the game plan for McBanter Face is pretty straightforward. Just do a couple of pop-off turns, draw through your deck, and then kill the Paladin with Ignites. And you have Viper to.
Yeah, it's play your whole hand, draw your whole deck, kill your opponent.
Yep.
It's almost like we're playing Rogue. I think we can go off this turn if we want to. We have both Sirens in hand. Have both if.
I mean, he hasn't gone off. I don't think. Yeah, you draw. I think you wait your turn.
Yeah, we can brick if we don't draw
Yeah.
a cheap Naga there. So yeah, I think stalling another turn makes sense.
This Paladin hand, I mean, you do have maybe one, maybe two board clears, but the rest of it is pretty awkward at this point.
I think the Righteous Defense on the Treasure Guard is interesting.
Wait, are you
'Cause it doesn't mill. Banter's at
Yeah,
8.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm interested why Nails chose to do that. 'Cause it does let us trade into it. I'm just not quite sure what the end game of that one is. Oh,
He's just
we
drawing into
drew Cariel.
it. Okay, time to go. So this first board which Banter builds now is pretty cleanly gonna get cleared.
You know the first board's gonna get cleared. It's the second one that sometimes sticks, and then it's definitely the third one you know sticks.
Who here can spell Zinjari? Anybody?
Explosive runes. Interesting. Does it do anything?
It shuts off pyro equality, which seems super relevant.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah, but
guessing that's
it's-
why we took it.
Hmm.
It's less ideal, of course, because it telegraphs to your opponent. Like the card actually says what the secret
Yeah.
is. It can be a bit obnoxious, but I assume we took explosive runes for that reason, and also
Yeah.
the other options weren't great.
So Samuro isn't very clean actually. It does leave you equality then do that. Yeah. You have to.
My blade seeks vengeance.
And Nails
Here we
doesn't
go again.
have the second clear.
Yeah, he does not at this point. I guess Leviathan can just clear 2 big minions, including the Siren, and or maybe you just Cariel. Depends on what the board state is looking like after this.
I'd be less likely to just Cariel because the mage has seen most, if not all, of its deck at this point, so they probably have the Viper.
Yeah.
Queen's trove is forbidden.
And rules shuts off the pyro clear also, so you kind of need it to be something like equality city attacks, or you need to have a battle viker or something to pop the runes first.
Powers beyond your comprehension.
So
Yeah, because Leviathan just clears off. It like clears out the Treasure Guard of one of the 5/4s, and that's not enough.
not yeah.
It's a tough spot. Considering playing the Knight, because that'll pop the explosive runes and still draw us the card, and then we can potentially trade Viper into Wild Pyro.
Yep. That's okay. Equality doesn't do anything on its own.
You can play Equality and then play like Fish and Light Ray, or just play Fish and Light Ray and then Equality coin Cariel next turn.
Yeah, I think you just save equality for now. Just,
Okay, yeah. Then we can double Maki roll our face and then play the Light
Yeah.
Ray. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
There's 17 on board though. That's a lot.
This deep breath is so good.
Pick me!
I think that's the first time I've heard the deep breath is so good here.
Yeah. Ignite time. Yeah. This mage just got the.
Hot
I
streak?
don't.
Okay. I think we get there this turn. Not confident in that though.
I think so.
Yeah, 10 on board. We can like trade Viper into Ignite again. Play refreshing, Ignite again.
One's out on me.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
This
does
is
it.
lethal, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
actually reevaluating my stance on this matchup. I think the mage just gets there if you play Viper. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder though, like if Nails has the clear, the second clear for that board, how does the matchup go from there? Because I think that is like super relevant. Of like, if you don't
Yeah.
generate another Siren, you really only make 2 boards with Mage, and
Yeah.
the Ignite game plan is sort of slow if you don't have that Siren on board. Wait. Oh. I got really confused for a moment because Banter queued
Yeah.
Mage again.
Yeah, even I. Yeah, it's just okay. It's rogue.
It's rogue.
Yeah, what do you think about this matchup?
I've been playing a decent chunk of Holy Paladin on ladder to practice for my
Okay.
match. My list is a little different from Nails, but this matchup does feel pretty favored.
Yeah.
Just because like the rogue doesn't really have good removal. It's like you sort of clear their board turn 6 and then just make a big minion turn 7 and they concede.
Yeah, yeah, that is how it usually goes. Uh, and the rogue has to get ahead early and then just. I think the rogue has to kill by turn 7 or 8 with smite, or like after that it just doesn't get there.
Reporting for duty.
Is Banter running a Viper?
Let me check. No.
And
Yeah, that's no Viper and only
oh,
one
so
Shadows. now.
Banter is the jackpot, right? So yeah, he doesn't even have space for it.
Mhm.
So yeah, we could see some cheese this game.
Yeah.
He has the trickster in hand. Just need the jackpot and.
There's Cariel.
Yep.
Drew the good card. Let's go.
Honestly, if Paladin is playing against the normal thief rogue, the boat rogue, I'd say like the rogue still has a very good chance. But like this deck, even though it can cheese a lot, I think the way you do it is you build some like crazy boards early on, but the Paladin just deals with them, and then you don't even have burst in this deck. I mean that much burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. What I found is that the issue Thief Rogue will run into is it sort of takes a little bit to set up that burst combo to finish off the Paladin with like smite and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And like if you're the Paladin and you just play like a Sunfish that's been buffed a couple times, if the Rogue has already played Scabs, like they just can't get through.
Yeah. Can't get to it.
With every step, the light.
Tone's actually pretty good, unless you want another equality. I like don't hate it.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever Kings, but I think
Yeah.
both Stone and Equality are worth considering here. You already have a 7-drop with Cariol, but Stone is like a decent follow-up to that.
Yeah.
But Equality is definitely like the safer pick.
Yeah.
I'd say.
It's just good with so many cards in your deck, and it's a card you actually play in your deck. So
Yeah, like Immortalized in Stone though is like a 30-second-ish card. It was like a one of in
Yeah.
lists before mini set.
yeah, it's just good only in some matchups, and this is one of the matchups it's actually good in. It's
Equality is significantly less good in Rogue.
yeah. I think you just take Deliverance. Okay, wait. What does that spell even do? Summon a fiend with stats equal to your hand size. Okay, that's I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just a
it's
vanilla. Yeah.
You can get a decent amount of tempo this turn. Summon a 7/7, play an all.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I'm actually seeing this card. I didn't even know this card existed.
Yeah, it was people experimented with it in even Warlock and Wild and decided it wasn't good enough there.
Huh.
And I think your opponent has 11 on board. We can play Cariol and turn it into 6 on board.
Yeah. That sounds like a good play to me. Especially when they don't have Viper.
Yeah, I think the fact that Banter doesn't have Viper makes Cariol just super appealing here.
He's going for it.
Yeah, because you have the Pyro in hand, so you're not as worried about not having a clear for the board. And with like the 2 light rays already being decently cheap, we could definitely see some big tempo swings from the Paladin pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
what can the rogue find to deal with? Okay, he's just that's a lot of damage. I mean, that's half of a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's like you think it's a lot of damage, and then it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Playing against Paladin feels just so miserable if you don't have a Viper and they get the Cariol on curve.
Yeah. Yes, I assume we're gonna go Equality, then Wild Pyromancer, and then probably Flash of Light.
Yeah.
All are equal.
Yeah, because especially the half damage effectively doubles all of your healing as well.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And draw Reno. Just in case. So is there a way Rogue can find something to beat this Paladin? Through Recon, through Igwin, not that good. Mida, I guess, yeah. He goes for Mida.
Yeah, Meat is not terrible. I think like you really want to see Mountain Bear. I think that's the best death rattle to get in this matchup, but
Yeah, I think Mountain Bear is the best death rattle to get in most matchups, except in the mirrors or something where obviously there's Gigafen.
yeah. Also,
Then I'm
when you get that, what is it, Najak? Like,
yeah.
You know, even against like Paladin, you know, you play a massive taunt and your opponent just goes Najak Shadow Step, and you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the tough thing for Rogue is you both have to sort of play a game plan of like, you know, the Paladin's going to be dropping big minions, so you kind of need to find removal for those, but then you also just have to deal with the inevitability of like they're gonna play Mr. Smite at some point and kill you with that.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. So, what can we get from Jackpot that's good? That can get like
Um,
I'm just thinking. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
what's the
Drake Fire Amulet. You
yeah? I
just
was gonna
get
say
good dragon.
Rune of the Archmage.
Yeah, yeah, something like that, and you have to kind of then chain it.
Oh, what's the new Paladin one? The 9-mana one that fills both of your boards.
Summons a minion from both. Something like that. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know because I played it in my hero match yesterday, and I didn't read the card, so my opponent's board was full, and I play it thinking I'm going to summon minions, and then I pause for
Yeah.
a moment, read the card, and concede. Having to use like Mr. Smite to trade.
Yeah,
Is so bad.
that's just saying I give up. And then you play a bottom feeder, and like when you play a bottom feeder, then I think you just shame consider at that point.
I think we need like jackpot into Drakefire or bust for banter
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, the Paladin has such an efficient removal. It's just
Yeah. Well, it's both efficient removal and just like massive creatures. Because, you know, especially with 2 0-mana Garden's Grace in hand, like, 10 burst from hand, very spooky.
when the Paladin deck gets going, it's just so good. But the only problem I feel is like it does not get going that consistently.
Mhm. Yeah. It's sort of like, yeah, when the deck draws Cariel, it's really good.
Yeah, yeah,
That's why, like, people you would run Sir Finley in your deck because you would look at your hand and go, "Wow, this is 6 cards that aren't Cariel. Let's send them
Yeah.
back."
yeah. I think Niels was running Sir Finley for a while as well. But why are we not running the new Myrmidon? I think it's a pretty solid, at least as a one-off. Like in matchups like this, where slow matchups, you can just use it, use Maki Roll with it to draw like 5-6 cards if you want to.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely been impressed by it because
Yeah,
the Maki Roll synergy is nice, and also you can sometimes just sort of like play it turn 3, play Flash of Light turn 4, draw 2, and you're not unhappy about that either.
yeah. Okay, so the only time you're gonna see Warlock in competitive play.
Hey, I will say Nails is 5-2 right now, and one of his losses was to Dankus Dad bringing Curse Warlock, or not Curse Warlock, Dreaded Mount Warlock.
I mean, I lost to Warlock thrice on ladder. Like the 3 times I faced Warlock today. They had Gigapen every time.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, DH versus Law.
One of these players has 2 Knolls in hand,
Yep, I'm looking at that.
but no trade.
The other player has one, so not very far behind.
And also, like, Warlock hero power is definitely, I would say, the best hero power, especially if you already have a Knoll, because it's basically like a tradable but better. It's just a card.
Looking at the rest of the hands, though, being on coin and having crab is also pretty solid. It's a huge tempo swing in the mid game. Other than that, it's pretty similar. Let's see what they get off the recon and both. So, I think you just tap here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could coin Shroud, but then your Null only
Yeah.
still costs 1.
Mm.
Ooh. I think if you're Banter, though, you play Shroud.
Yeah.
And you drop both of your Nulls.
Yep. Easy.
But if you fails, you can also Shroud and drop both of your Nulls. Wait, actually,
Okay. This is interesting. You can
We-
coin that out, and yeah,
we can coin it out. We could also Shadow Step it, and we're left with 2 4/1 Nulls and a 3/1.
yeah, this is huge.
Wait, actually, we Shadow Step one of the Nulls. And
Yeah,
trade
yeah.
it. The Fillet Fighter keeps stealth, yeah. I was trying to think, is there any difference between stepping Fillet Fighter and stepping Null? But yeah, the stealth is relevant.
This is huge. I mean, doesn't really matter that much because the other person will want to clear the nulls first and then go for the fillet. But just a small optimization.
Yeah, it's like tiny optimization.
Yeah.
Is there anything off of Recon? The Demon Hunter 3/2 is still in, right?
The 3/2. Yeah, that is still in.
Okay.
Hmm.
I think. Is there a better option than Recon here for Banter?
Doesn't look like it. I think. Interesting. Yeah, this does clear 2 minions and.
Yeah, and we have the weapon set up to kill the 3/1 as well. I don't mind that. I think either that or Recon both made sense there.
The thing with Recon is you are maybe developing a minion, but the opponent just gets to push so much damage, then you're just fighting from behind the entire game. I like the dagger, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty weak turn from Nails though, yeah.
It is sort of very risky though in this matchup because there's so much burst in these rogue decks. Double Wicked Stab, Double Tooth, Mr. Smite, and the Krakatoa Claws. You can't afford to be either taking too much chip from Nulls or using too much health trading into minions.
Yeah.
I think I want either Recon or Prep here. Would be my gut.
What is next turn looking like? You'll be on 5 mana. I think you want the Recon here. Yeah, he goes for it. Yeah.
Because Recon definitely gives us a better next turn if our opponent doesn't develop.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, your turn is looking like Tooth plus Stab just to clear something up, which is kind of sad. So, Recon is something proactive. You'd rather have that. And Prep was decent. Just lets you play the Maestra itself.
Now Banter has turn. Do you prep the Recon? Yeah.
Yes, and Mountain Bear? Nah, never. I guess you take in the dark, yeah.
You take it, but I don't think it's that great here.
Yeah, not an. With the Nulls gone, yeah, not that great.
And then I think we play 4 mana Big Whelp. Just play the Edwin. Say turn 5 is usually a not great turn for Rogue.
Yeah.
So just play a 4/4 that draws a card.
Yeah, that's a nice top pick.
Yes.
Yeah, next turn you got the Crab.
That's why we should have taken Prep off of the conflict.
Yeah.
Prep the Vessel and also play Maestra or Wicked Stamp.
Okay. What did you get?
Party Up?
Party Up. I like the
Let's muddy the waters.
That was such a clutch top deck.
Yeah.
Okay. The craft does deal with a lot of it, but you're just getting so low.
Yes, but so's your opponent. Like, you trade there, and
Kill one of the two-twos. The Wind Fury one has to go for sure. And the spell damage one as well, I guess.
yeah, I think
I guess you
you
just kill
kill-
the yeah. Yeah. Kill one of them and then send the claw into the Edwin. Yeah.
Yeah, like Claw's always going into Edwin, and I think you kill the Trickster, the spell damage, and the Wind Fury, and leave out the life steal.
You're going face.
And sending a fade.
Interesting. Okay. So we're racing them.
And then just killing the Wind Fury and going face.
Yeah. Okay, so how much damage do we have from hand? 6 plus 4, that's 10, and well, that's still one off. I mean, if everything gets cleared, that is.
How much does... Oh, Banter can play
Keep for
Fortitude
two.
on the life steal, though. And that seems
Yep.
big.
Yep.
Wait, we can go Fortitude on the life steal and Najak Krakatoa?
Yeah. And step it back.
So,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, that seems like a really strong turn.
Hmm. Yeah. He's
Oh, Shadow Step the Krakatoa. I don't mind that.
yeah. That's yeah. So what can Nails do here? I don't see anything. Yeah, you don't even have prep, so
And you can't even scam with Tooth because you'd have to hit the 6/5 with your face first.
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a tooth scam here. The only scam I can think of is the Gigafin from Recon and like your 1 mana shot for either that or scabs. Yeah. Yeah, this is just
Too off lethal.
yeah.
We can recon into the priest minion, the one that does 3 to the board. Ooh. None of those are it though.
Yeah.
choose.
So
I guess you have to sink 2 burn spells into Krakatoa at this point.
yep.
Otherwise, you're just very dead on board. But yeah, Banter still has lethal with either Tooth or Fortitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the Wicked Stab top deck.
I think last time the 42 play was pretty good as well. I mean, yeah, I just really like this line. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can get a chance to ask Banter about it. Since I
Yeah.
believe, well, we'll have to see if he's up for a post-game interview, but that is
Yep.
the series. That's a 3-1 win for McBanterface,
Yeah.
which now puts the series tied at 5-5 between Bing Bong Big Top and Brushy Tuna.
Ooh, that's interesting. What other matches do we have got in this series?
Yeah, so the other match that's already happened is Kales Luna played against Lucas
Ooh,
DMNASC and won 3-1.
okay.
And then still to play, there's Izat versus Ron Mexico, Just in Time versus Ridiculous Hat, and Neji Boston versus Based Inc. Still to go.
That's a lot of good games. A lot of good
Yeah,
games.
I mean, it's pro playoff, so you would hope all the
Yeah.
players are good.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
how did you feel going into this match? Because we were sort of talking a bit about the lineups going into it, and I wasn't quite sure how the mage was going to do against Nail's lineup, but it seemed to do pretty well.
Yeah, I felt pretty okay about it. I mean, to me, it just looked like a 50-50 pretty much across the board, just in terms of lineup. I mean, the Paladin's decent into my lineup, but I have a Viper in my Mage for that reason. I don't think the Mage is too bad into the Paladin. I haven't played a ton of Ignite Mage recently, but I like the look of it comparatively to Ping Mage right now. I know that's a hot topic in the community, but I just wanted to try out Ignite a little bit, see how it does. I've been playing it from time to time, and thought it was, for me at least, the better fourth deck. I thought a little bit about Paladin, but I remembered I hate playing Paladin, and it's pretty miserable when you don't draw Imperial. So
Yeah.
I decided not to bring it.
That's
Yeah.
a fair analysis of Paladin.
Yeah. One thing I really did notice that neither of you had Boar Priest. So what are your thoughts on that deck in the best decks, sort of the good decks lineup?
Which deck? Sorry.
The Boar Priest.
Oh, Board Priest. I mean, I think it fits pretty fine into a best decks lineup. It's not really a comfort deck for me. I don't enjoy playing it much. I tend to be someone who just brings decks that I like, that I think are good and can perform well. So all these, work for me. But I think for a lot of people, Board Priest is a good bring. It's a little bit awkward right now, I think, because Control Warrior's just clearly the best deck in the game by far. So most lineups want to ban it anyway. So you're bringing Board Priest and you ban Control Warrior, which is fine, but it definitely reduces like some of the edge you have from bringing Board Priest. So it's not as good right now, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the lineup that Kales Luna brought with like Anaconda Druid, Priest, and your own Control Warrior, I think you can build a lineup that leaves up Warrior if you've got Boar Priest in it.
Yeah,
But
no,
it is definitely weird
Sorry.
alongside like Demon Hunter and Rogue to bring.
Yeah. I mean, you can absolutely bring a lineup like that, and then you're gonna look at your opponent's lineup. You're gonna be cool. I'm gonna sweep the Control Warrior, and then they play From the Depths on turn 3, and you're like, better luck next time. It happens every time. I mean, I played an Open Cup yesterday that I won. I played against 2 Target Warrior lineups, and that was only in a best of 3, so they don't even have to beat it, as many decks, and it just always gets a win because you play Depths and you get to cheat a bunch of mana. You beat Druid sometimes, you beat Boar Priest sometimes. I think it's too good to try and target. You can, and some people do, and I'm sure it'll work out every now and then, but I'm just not a fan of it right now.
Yeah, I think the lineup has a bit more legitimacy because there's also a lot of, and you kind of target both that and Warrior. But I do agree, like the Warrior sometimes just gets through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the problems with those kind of lineups is that they just lose pretty much to everything else. They lose to Rogue, they lose to DH, they lose to Mage. So I don't think you have a lot of agency going to that. Like if you're targeting just one specific deck, and that even is like that's just so strong that it gets a win more often than not anyway. So I think you're just leaving yourself at a disadvantage if you're doing that.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, I don't know. I would say in a format like THL, because you're submitting every week against one specific person, you can kind of, you'll have weeks where you're really confident someone's going to bring a specific deck and you can build those target lineups as opposed to like an Open Cup or a Masters Tour where you have to have something that's a little more better against the field.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally in THL, I kind of just stick to my strategy. You know, it works well. I bring decks that I like. I welcome people to try and target a deck that I bring. I bring them because I think that I can win with them regardless of what people do. Um, Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it. So I don't like, I know people look at lineups or whatever, try to build the target. It's happened before to me. I'll still win those series a good portion of the time. So I'm not too bothered by it, but I know that some other people like to go with that strategy.
I mean, in 2 weeks, you might be up against my team.
Is this a target strategy team?
We've brought some really bad decks in the past. I know Dankest Dad brought Dreaded Mount Warlock one week.
Oh God!
Because if you play the Dreaded Mounts on the Priest
Yes.
minions, the amulet,
I've unironically thought about doing that, and then I thought about it more. I was like, never mind. It's not the best idea, but I like it. I like it.
And then we also had some Quest DH and other interesting decks in our team. But yeah,
I heard about some Highlander Rogue. Yeah.
Your team seems to be bringing good decks, and you're also 7-0, and
yeah,
currently tied in your playoff match. So clearly, it's working out for you guys.
My team's been killing it.
Yep.
I think you guys are the only team in playoffs who's 7-0. Everyone else is 5-2 and 4-3. So.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll continue it this week. I know we got a couple matches left in this series, but I think we're all tied now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Also, Banter is also 8-0 now. I think he's the only undefeated player in the entire Pro Series, as long as I can see. Dankest Dad is So there are two. Yeah,
about a week because he was moving, but yeah, the two undefeated players. So I think if our teams do end up playing in 2 weeks, it'll be a nice showdown between the two undefeated players.
Bring it.
Any shout outs or anything you want to give like Banderface?
Just shout out to my team. They've all been a lot of fun to play with this season and last season as well. I think we lost in the finals last time around, so hopefully this time we'll bring it home. Shout out to Nails too. He's a good dude, good player. We were messaging each other back and forth during especially like the last game. We've been joking around lately because I spectating him on stream for like hours during Open Cup yesterday about like rogue stuff. How you should just always go face no matter what. And he told me at the end he forgot the golden rule was he traded once with the 3/3. And also on the last turn when I Najoked and stepped the crab, I don't even necessarily think it was the best play. I didn't think about it too much. I just thought it was funny because we kept talking about how whoever plays crab wins. Like when you play crab on curve, you win the game. So I just did that.
We were discussing playing Fortitude on the lifesteal minion.
Yeah, no, that was super reasonable. I thought about that right after, but this was more fun, so I went with that. I knew there was exactly one thing that I could die to, which was smite, fillet, step, but at least I think that was the only thing. Because Gone Fishing was one off. I was like, if he's got the one of smite, the second step, and the second fillet, I probably deserve to lose that one. But at least I got to play crab. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting match. Okay, so now looking like initially when I looked at the Jackpot Rogue, I was not a fan, but like looking at you win the cup, like I was lurking in your stream for a while when you were playing that Open Cup, and now looking at your game against Nails, I'm just warming up to the idea of Jackpot Rogue. I don't know.
Oh, I'm fully convinced it is the superior rogue. It's worse against Warrior, but we get to ban Warrior, and like I think I don't know, 30-5 in the rogue mirror against primarily people playing other versions of the deck. Granted, a lot of those are playing like Contraband Stash, which I think is terrible, but I think this version of the deck is really strong, and I think it's underrated because it performs poorly against Warrior. But in a tournament lineup, I actually think it's really good. But we'll see.
That makes sense. The funny thing is, with this lineup, you can actually leave Warrior open. Like if you change the builds, if you change the Demon Hunter build a little bit, you change the Rogue build a little bit, and I think this lineup also has the potential to leave a Warrior open without targeting it.
Yeah, I mean, Okay, so the DH build is fine against it. I probably put a peasant in, and then the rogue build, you definitely want to play the other rogue with just the regular one,
Yeah.
and you're still unfavored. And then mage, I think, is unfavored either way. I think that matchup sucks.
You could play the Naga priest here.
Yeah, you could go priest, yes. But
Yeah.
I feel it's so much easier for me to say warrior's busted, they play one card
Yeah.
and they're gonna win the game. I just don't want to deal with it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. No, this is a very reasonable strat for sure.
Great.
Wait,
Any
that-
other questions?
I would just say congrats again to McBannerface, and thanks for coming and playing on stream. Thanks to Nails and Haster and Eternal for having their matches on stream. You know, as we're closing in on playoffs, it's always nice to get some matches on stream so people can see how things are going.
Sure. Yeah, it's always fun to play on stream. I'm pretty much always going to be game for it. I haven't really done it a lot this season, but if we play again next week, which hopefully we will, then we'll do it again.
Nice. Yeah,
Alright,
thanks
alright.
everyone for playing on stream, for Mighty and Jewish Hour 2 for casting and everything. We've got
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
matches tomorrow night too. The Easy XRT and Ron Mexico will be on stream tomorrow night. So that is the same series that we are just talking about, right? But the 2 seed
Yes.
and it's tied up 5-5. So see how it goes.
Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Night.
I hear you got a problem. You are not prepared! Another round? Why do you... You are not prepared! You are not! This guy's toast. Leroy! Not prepared! Goodbye.